I don't know how you missed something this basic, Mr. Harrison said. His voice is calm, almost gentle, like he's explaining something to a child in kindergarten. The conference room goes completely silent. I can hear my own heartbeat. Everyone turns to look at the slide on the screen. My slide. My analysis. The spreadsheet I spent 3 weeks perfecting. The financial model I stayed up until 2 in the morning to finish. Every single number, every formula, every projection came from me. But right there on that slide, there's an error. An error I've never seen before in my life. I know my own work. I've checked it 100 times. Mr. Harrison sighs like he's disappointed, like this is what he expects from someone like me. I'll fix it, he says, walking to the presentation remote. And just like that, he becomes the hero. The brilliant CEO who catches mistakes. The intelligent leader who saves the day. And me? I become invisible. I become the liability. I don't speak up. Because I already know something nobody else in this room understands. That slide didn't leave my laptop looking like that. This isn't new. This pattern has been happening for months. Mr. Harrison always presents my work. Always. It's become so normal that nobody questions it anymore. The board expects it. My colleagues expect it. I've somehow become invisible in my own career. He takes my analysis, my reports, my research, and he stands in front of the board and makes it sound like it came from his own brilliant mind. Days before each presentation, he looks at my final slides. He examines them. He studies them carefully. But somehow, he always finds errors that need fixing during presentation. If my work wasn't good enough, then why is it always the best when compared to everyone else's work? Why do the board members always say, this analysis is brilliant? He edits the slides, changes things, tells the story better than I could, takes all the credit for the insights. And I just sit there in the meeting. Silent. Invisible. Always taking the blame when something goes wrong. Always apologizing in public. But in private, when we're alone, he tells me my work is perfect. Your thinking is incredible, he says. Your insights are what make this company run. But then in the boardroom, his voice takes over. And I fade away. After that meeting, I go back to my desk. I pull up the final version I remember submitting. I go through it carefully. Every number. Every line of text. Every formula. That error Mr. Harrison pointed out? Impossible. It doesn't exist in my version. I'm certain. I save my work obsessively. I back up everything. I'm paranoid about losing work, so I keep multiple copies. I check my saved files from yesterday afternoon. Clean. Accurate. Solid. Every number checks out. Every formula works perfectly. Then I check the version he used in the presentation. I open it slowly, nervously, and I compare them side by side. One formula. Just one. But it's different. Not completely broken. Not obviously wrong. Just slightly altered. Just misleading enough to fail when the board tries to use it later. Just wrong enough that when someone implements my analysis, it creates problems. He didn't accidentally change it. This was intentional. And only one person touches my slides before the meetings. Only one person has access to them that way. Only him. The realization hits me like a punch to the stomach. He didn't just take credit for my work. He changed my work. He deliberately made it wrong. Then he blamed me for the mistake in front of everyone. In front of the board. In front of my colleagues. Which means this isn't about ego anymore. This isn't about a boss wanting attention or needing credit. This is risk. This is danger. He's been deliberately sabotaging my work to make himself look good. He takes credit when things are good, but he blames me when things go wrong. He's creating the perfect situation. He's completely protected. He looks smart because he catches the mistakes. But he's the one creating them. And I've been carrying that risk for months without knowing it. Without understanding what was happening. Every time my name got attached to a failure that wasn't actually my fault, my reputation took damage. Every time the board questioned my abilities, I got weaker. And every time he stepped in to fix things, he got stronger. I start thinking back. Old projects. Old presentations. Old decks that he's presented before. I look at emails. I check timestamps on files. Every time he presented my work, small tweaks were made beforehand. Nothing obvious. Nothing that would get caught immediately. Just enough to make him look insightful when he corrected them live. Just enough to make the board see him as brilliant. He's been manufacturing problems all along. He takes my perfect work, introduces tiny flaws, waits for the presentation, and then fixes them in front of everyone. It makes him look like a genius. It makes me look careless. I count back through 6 months of projects. 8 presentations. Every single one had been altered before the meeting. The pattern is clear now that I'm looking for it. He's systematic. He's careful. He's brilliant at hiding it. But he's also arrogant. I have been too quiet, too passive, just accepting the blame without thinking it through. He thinks I'll just keep accepting this forever. I remember every time I stayed quiet. Every time I told myself, it's not worth it. Don't make waves. Keep your head down. Every time I wanted to speak but didn't. But this time, everything is different. This time, my name is tied to a major failure. My credibility is on the line. The board is considering demoting me. They want to put me on training courses I don't need. They're questioning whether I'm actually capable of my job. And Mr. Harrison doesn't defend me. He doesn't tell them that my work is the best. He doesn't say what he says in private. In private he worships my abilities. But in front of the board, he just nods in agreement. He lets them think I'm incompetent. He's already moving on like nothing happened. Already preparing for the next presentation. Already planning the next trap. But this time, something shifts inside me. This time, I will stop being passive. This time, I start paying attention. I change one thing. Starting today, I start saving timestamped versions of everything. Not just regular file saves. I create full breakdowns. I take screenshots of my final work before I send it anywhere. I document edit histories. I use software to track when files were created and when they were modified. I'm not doing this to complain. I'm not building a case to go to human resources. I'm doing this to prepare. To protect myself. I know with absolute certainty that he's going to do this again. He's going to ask for my slides the night before the next big presentation. He's going to say he wants to polish them. He's going to make changes that I didn't authorize. And when those changes cause problems, he's going to blame me again. But next time, I'll have proof. Next time, I'll know exactly what he did. 3 weeks later, exactly as I predicted, another big presentation comes up. Another project. Another one of mine. A major initiative that the board is going to be very interested in. I finish my analysis. I complete my slides. Everything is perfect. Everything is accurate. And just like clockwork, Mr. Harrison comes to my desk. I'd like to look at the final slides, he says. It's phrased as a request, but we both know it's an order. I want to polish them a bit. Make sure they're presentation ready. This is it. This is my moment. I send him the file. But this time, I just send him one version. Version 1 is the real file. The actual slides with my actual work. Version 2 is a copy of version 1. Completely the same. Except for one hidden marker. A tiny formula variation buried in the middle of a spreadsheet that only I would ever notice. It's invisible to anyone who isn't looking for it. It's so small that a casual review would never catch it. But if it shows up in the presentation, I will know. I will know absolutely that he touched my work. I will know exactly where he made changes. And I will have proof. I send version 1 through the normal email to him. But version 2, I send to myself. I save it with a timestamp. I print a screenshot of it. I create an audit trail that shows what I submitted versus what gets presented. If that marker shows up on that projector screen tomorrow, I'll know he changed my work again. And this time, I'm ready. The presentation day arrives. The room fills up. Board members. Executives. Important people. Mr. Harrison stands confidently at the front of the room like he owns it. Like he always does. My team worked on this, he says. Not my name. Never my name. Just, my team. Like I'm a faceless employee. Like my contribution doesn't matter. Like I'm just background noise. Then the first slide appears on the projector screen. Then the second. Then the third. I'm watching carefully. Intensely. Looking at every number. Then we get to the slide. The one with my hidden marker. And there it is. Clear as day. My hidden marker. The formula variation. Proof. He changed my work. Again. My heart races but my face stays calm. He pauses halfway through his presentation. Points at the numbers on the screen. Frowns like he's confused. This doesn't look right, he says. Here it comes. He's about to fix it. He's about to make himself look brilliant one more time. He reaches for the remote. He's about to stand there and explain the error. He's about to walk everyone through his brilliant fix. He's about to take credit for correcting my mistake. Except this time, something is different. This time, I don't let him. This time, I stand up. Actually, I say. My voice cuts through the room like a knife. Everyone turns. All eyes on me. Mr. Harrison looks surprised. More than surprised. Annoyed. I rarely speak in these meetings. I've trained myself to be quiet. To be invisible. But not today. I stand up slowly. Calmly. That version isn't the one I submitted. The room goes completely silent. I can hear people breathing. I can feel the tension. He laughs it off. Let's not get defensive, he says. I'm not, I reply. And I walk to the front of the room. I plug in my laptop. Silence fills the room. Complete silence. Everyone understands what's about to happen. He laughs it off, but his laugh sounds nervous now. I put my laptop on the projector. My screen shows up. I open my email. I find the original version I submitted. I pull up his edited version from the presentation. I put them side by side on the screen. Both files. Both versions. Identical except for one thing. One small difference. But that difference changes everything. It changes the entire outcome of my analysis. I don't accuse him of anything. I don't get angry. I don't raise my voice. I just ask, calmly, which version should we be using? And now, he has to answer. Right there. In front of everyone. He tries to explain. Says it's a last-minute adjustment. Says that leadership requires flexibility. Says that sometimes you have to adapt your thinking. But the room isn't nodding anymore. They're thinking. They're processing. They're wondering. Because suddenly, they're remembering. They're remembering other presentations. Other times when he's had to fix something at the last minute. Other presentations where there were small errors that he caught. Other times when he stepped in and became the hero. The board members are exchanging looks. They're starting to realize something. This isn't the first time this has happened. This pattern, this isn't new. One board member speaks up. Victoria Edison. Sharp. Observant. Has this happened before? She asks. I pause. I take a breath. I choose my words carefully. I don't want to sound emotional. I don't want to sound like I'm making accusations. I want to sound factual. Professional. I've noticed revisions after submission, I say quietly. Multiple times. Not an accusation. Just a pattern. Just facts. And now, something changes in the room. Other people start remembering too. One executive mentions a past inconsistency. Then another. Small things. Ignored at the time. But together, they form a pattern. A clear pattern. A pattern of control. And suddenly, the spotlight shifts away from me. It shifts to him. For the first time in months, Mr. Harrison isn't leading the room. He's reacting to it. Explaining. Justifying. Defending himself. And it's not landing well. Nobody's believing him. Nobody's comfortable. Victoria leans forward. I'd like to see all of these files. All of your recent presentations. I'd like to compare submitted versions with presented versions. His face goes pale. He knows what's about to happen. He knows that pattern is about to become very, very obvious. I stand there, quietly, while the room shifts. While the power changes. While the truth starts to emerge. I don't need to say anything else. The numbers will speak for themselves. The files will speak for themselves. The pattern will speak for itself. I don't raise my voice. I don't attack. I don't get emotional. I just say one sentence. I'd prefer to present my own work moving forward. Simple. Professional. But everyone in the room understands what that means. Everyone knows what I'm really saying. I'm saying I don't trust him anymore. I'm saying I want my voice heard. I'm saying I want credit for my own work. I'm saying I'm done being invisible. And now, the decision isn't his anymore. The board decides. They discuss for a minute. Then Victoria speaks. From now on, analysts present their own reports, she says. Just like that. One sentence. And his control breaks. He knows exactly what he just lost. He knows that this system, this pattern that made him look so good, is over. The meeting ends. But it ends differently this time. People come to me. Ask me questions. Ask about my methodology. Ask about my thinking. Ask about my analysis. They're showing respect. They're showing it directly to me. Not through Mr. Harrison. Not filtered through him. Me. And he's standing alone in the corner of the room. People avoid him. Nobody wants to talk to him. Nobody wants to be associated with him. I can see the realization on his face. He understands what just happened. He understands that his system has failed. And he knows there's nothing he can do to fix it. Later that afternoon, he calls me into his office. He's angry, but he's careful about it. He's smart enough not to lose his temper completely. You embarrassed me, he says. His voice is cold. I meet his eyes directly. No, I reply. I corrected the record. For the first time, he has nothing to say. He has no explanation. He has no defense. He has no clever comment. He just sits there, silent, realizing that his strategy, his pattern, his system, has finally been exposed. And there's nothing he can do about it. The next meeting. I present. My slides. My voice. No edits. No interference. I stand in front of the board and I explain my work. My analysis. My thinking. I tell them how I approached the problem. I tell them why I made certain choices. And the room listens. Really listens. They ask questions. Good questions. Thoughtful questions. And I answer them. Directly. Confidently. The difference is undeniable. When I present my own work, the room responds differently. When my voice is the one being heard, the analysis sounds better. When I get the credit for my thinking, my ideas sound stronger. I realize something sitting up there. I realize how much I was holding back. How much I was limiting myself. How much I was hiding behind him. And I never want to go back to that. He's still CEO. Still in the room. Still has his title and his office and his authority. But now? He's changed. He asks questions like everyone else. He has no spotlight anymore. He has no performance. He's just another person in the meeting. And he avoids touching my work completely. He doesn't ask for my slides anymore. He doesn't want to polish anything. He knows that game is over. He knows I'm watching. He knows I have proof. He knows I'm done being silent. I can see it in his face. I can see the frustration. The realization that this system that made him look so good is completely destroyed now. 3 months later, I'm promoted to senior analyst. Victoria tells me I have the sharpest thinking on the team. She tells me my work is changing the company. She tells me they want to see more of my ideas. Not through Mr. Harrison. From me directly. I didn't destroy him. I didn't need to. I just took back what was mine. My work. My voice. My credit. I just stopped being invisible. And the irony? The beautiful irony? Now he does exactly what he should have done from the start. He leaves my work alone. He respects my ideas. He supports my presentations. He's finally the leader he claimed he was all along. But it took me standing up to make it happen. It took me being brave. It took me being willing to risk everything for the truth. And now that I've done it once, I know I can do it again. I know I can speak up. I know I can defend myself. I know I don't have to be invisible. The board decides to implement a new policy. All analysts must present their own work if they wish to. All reports must come directly from their creators. All presentations must feature the actual author. It's not just about me anymore. It's about creating a culture where quiet people can speak. Where invisible workers become visible. Where hard work gets recognized. Where people don't disappear behind powerful voices. I think about all the times I could have spoken up but didn't. All the times I stayed quiet because I was afraid. All the times I let someone else take credit because I didn't believe I deserved it. I'm done with that version of myself. I'm done being the background character in my own story. I'm done being silent. One day, someone new joins our team. A younger analyst. Quiet. Shy. I can see the pattern already forming. Mr. Harrison already likes this person. Already talks about her great ideas in meetings. I pull her aside and tell her my story. I tell her everything. I tell her to save her work. To document her contributions. To speak up. To believe in herself. Because I know what happens when you stay quiet. I know what happens when you let someone take your voice. And I don't want her to learn that lesson the hard way like I did. I want her to know from the beginning. Your work matters. Your voice matters. You matter. I think back to that day in the conference room. That moment when I stood up. That moment when I said, actually, and changed everything. That moment when I decided I was done being invisible. It took me months to get there. It took me being pushed to the breaking point. It took me being blamed for something that wasn't my fault. But I got there. And now I know something I didn't know before. I know that quiet people can be powerful. I know that choosing to speak doesn't make you loud. It makes you brave. I know that standing up for the truth doesn't require yelling. It just requires courage. And I know that I will never go back to being invisible again. I know that my work matters. I know that my voice matters. I know that I matter. And I'm going to spend the rest of my career making sure everyone else knows it too. I am Emma Anderson and this is my story.